last year, obviously, you rode 49 kilos to win the Doncaster. This year, same weight, second emergency. Is the approach any different for you?
It probably is now. I think up until this point it hasn't been, but now the possibility of not getting a run, I probably don't want to push as hard, considering I have other good rides on the day. And I rang Michael Hawkes yesterday and we're pretty much in agreement that I'd ride him a kilo over, and as long as the stewards will let me do that, and if he does get a run I'll ride him at 50, but otherwise if he doesn't get a run, well, I'll be able to have breakfast and a bit of a freshen.
So ideally a jockey riding 49, you'd like to be at least sort of below 50, just below 50 race morning. What would your ideal weight be leading into Saturday?
I'd love to be 51 Friday. If I can be there, I'm definitely in the ballpark to lose that bit more the morning of. But yeah, I think it'd be really comfortable at 51.
How about I get you to 50 and a half?
Sounds good.
On the roller. 200 metres, quick as you can. Right, that'll do ya. After last year's success riding 49 and a half and knowing that it can be done, does it make it any easier for you to get down to those sort of weights, you know, like for this year?
Definitely not. I'd love to be able to do it every year and get a win, but it doesn't always work out like that, and I think I was very fortunate last year that I was on the right horse. I had you behind me doing all the work behind the scenes, and everything just fell into line on the day, whereas I think it gets tougher the more you have to do it. It definitely, you have that goal there that you want to keep winning, but it definitely doesn't get any easier. What
about the food intake and the liquid intake leading up to races like this? Where do you sort of level it out at? Where do you have it?
I'd love to have more of it in the morning and then back it off throughout the day, have a bit before bed, and then hopefully do a bit the same. Just more the middle of the day, probably have a bit of a fast, and then morning and night have a little bit of something just to refuel.
What would you sort of have? A couple of boiled eggs for breakfast, or take us through what you would eat?
At the moment I've been having just a little bit of cereal, and then dinner's been steak and veggies. Not too much heavy, not heavy stuff, just stuff that's sort of protein and greens, just to keep pumping a bit of energy in, but I'd say the next 3 days will be pretty slim.
Up and back, brother, let's go. He steers horses better than the sled.
Some days.
How's the morning going to look like? When will you start watching to see when there's a scratching? How's it going to look if there is a scratching?
Probably wake up at 7, see if there's a scratching by then, but if there's nothing by 7:30, I'll be able to have breakfast, have a bit of water and sort of fuel up for the day, but if there is a scratching, well, I'll be straight to the Oasis, have a sweat and a sauna.
What weight do you really love riding at?
Probably more 52, 53. I think I'm very healthy there. I can ride naturally there, which is comfortable. If I have to waste below 52, I definitely feel my performance isn't as strong, but I think anywhere over 53 is very comfortable, and I feel strong as.
Do you find when you're riding really light that a lot more runs through your head, like you think about things a lot more?
Yeah, definitely. The week leading up, or 2 weeks, 3 weeks leading up, I wouldn't say I was riding bad, but I was definitely not as in the game as what I was race day. It was probably more focused on the Doncaster day for sure.
What rattles around in your head race day?
Not much.
You won it last year. What did you have last year as far as your meal, like your celebration meal, and will it change this year?
Yeah, I had a big pork chop about the size of my head, complimentary of Mr. Ho, which was very good, but this year I don't know. Whatever, if it was up to me it'd be KFC, but if it's up to the Hawks team I'd definitely be going wherever they're going.
Definitely their shout that way.
Yeah, for sure.